Hello and welcome to 7 Super Series. I'm Ben from the Bonehead podcast, and this is the Game 9 preview. Seven Super Series is our escalation league for the best way to play Blood Bowl Sevens. Sevens is a fast play variant with a smaller pitch, smaller teams, shorter halves, but bigger gameplay. We've got 5 teams facing off against each other across 10 weeks, then we'll take the top 4 teams and through a series of knockout playoff games, determine the 7 Super Series 3 champion. This is an escalation league, so no permanent injuries, and before each game a team plays, they will receive a single skill depending on their team tier. Every week on 7 Super Series, we will have a preview video looking ahead at the next game in the round. And this weekend, we've got a very cool matchup. We've got the top 2 teams in the series competing each other. We have got the Golden Skulls, our Khorne team, who is going to be piloted by Ian Triple Pow Triplo. And we've got the Undercity Warpfires, our Underworld team. Now, Trips has developed a bit of an affinity for the Khorne team, and I am obviously a massive fan of any team with a gutter runner. So this is kind of both of us playing the teams of the tournament that we are most fond of, and I think our play styles match both of these teams really well. So this is the preview video. This is where we want you to guess the scores, and we're going to go through the coaches, the teams, the matchup, and of course, most importantly, the viewer championship. Now, before we delve into the teams and the rosters and things, let's have a look at the round. So this is round 5. By this point, all the teams have got all of the skills they're going to get access to. So the Golden Skulls and the Undercity Warpfires are going to be facing off each other. It's this one here, which is game 9. And in game 10, we're going to see the Ogres versus the Loathen Legion, the Elven Union team. Carberg Carrion have got their bye week, and because of the way the standings are, the Skulls and the Undercity Warpfires will be going through to the finals. But the fate of all 3 of these teams will depend on this matchup here. So it's going to be really interesting to see next week the final 4 kind of show themselves. Whichever team doesn't make it in will be gone from the season, and then we will progress to the finals, and it will be number 1 seed versus number 4 seed, number 2 seed versus number 3 seed, and the actual final seedings depends on both of these matches. At the moment, we've got 1 and 2 here with Khorne and Underworld, so the winner will stay number 1 and will take the worst team into the finals, whereas the team that loses this matchup will face the best team out of the final 3 down here. So it's still all to play for. The best seeding gets the best target, basically the best opponent going into the finals. So Golden Skulls, Undercity Warpfire, 2 top teams. Let's talk them through. And first up, we've got our Khorne team. Now, this is a 3D printed team from Torchlight. This is my team, and every single week when we record a game with them, I fall in love with this team more and more and more, but not as much as Triplo. So Ian Triplo came on the show and ran the Khorne team on our live stream, our live test stream first of all, and absolutely dominated with it. It was this roster as well, which is a bit of a terrifying state. Then came on the show, as you've seen, and has been running the Golden Skulls for most of their games, and it's cool to get coaches with a certain affinity for a playstyle, although he knows what he's doing with them. And now we're in round 5. All the skills have landed. Bloodseeker 1 has got block, Bloodseeker 2 has got block, Bloodseeker 3 has got block. So 3 strength, 4 frenzy block pieces. This team is fully loaded for carnage. The Khorne has got leader, which gives the team 1 integral reroll. Now the downside of the Khorne team is, I want to say, lowish agility. The 3 Bloodseekers are all Ag 4, which is fine, but everybody else is Ag 3+. You've got no dodge, you've got no sure hands, so when it comes to, picking up the ball, it's a bit of a vulnerability for Khorne with no built-in rerolls and no kind of Ag 2+ cheats in there. So the Khorne is to be the primary ball carrier. Now, there's 4 Marauder linemen on this roster as well. So the team has got a bench and has got another 4 players with movement 6 and Edge 3+. So if the Khorne dies, it's not that the team is going to be unable to pick up the ball and do things, it's just that they can fall into frenzy traps, where the Khorne with Horns and Juggernaut has got a really effective, most of the time, 2-die blitz to push away any opponent, which is way better than a 3+ dodge into the open most of the time. So it kind of... the Marauders are fine as ball carriers. It's just the Khorne is just much better as a ball carrier, and where it doesn't have frenzy, you don't have to follow up and you're not going to get into less trouble. But the roster now, with its 5th skill, has picked up guard on the Marauder lineman. So not only are those Bloodseekers strength 4, that guard Marauder is going to be able to make sure that they're hitting with 2 dice. Now, they're up against an Underworld team where there's strength 2 targets, and that means that the guard piece is going to be able to allow those block pieces to get 6 die blocks, because they're going to go strength 4 plus 1 for guard is strength 5 against strength 2 is a 3 die block. And when you've got frenzy, that's 3 dice followed into 3 dice, that makes a 6 die block with block, which can be absolutely crushing. Now the alternative to that is, in most matchups, as a target of strength 3, that guard piece basically gives one of the other Marauders strength 4. So this roster kind of goes from being able to reliably take 1, 2, 3 4-die blocks into basically a 4th player with strength 4 for most of those hits. That 1 leader reroll is, it's about par for the course for 7s. Teams are going to have somewhere between 0 and 1 reroll, so the team's going to be able to be as flexible as it can be. But this team is going to smash face. Now, Underworld, they're not built to take a huge amount of punishment. They do have a Rat Ogre, and the Blitzer's not bad either, but we're going to have to be very careful lining up our more fragile players against these absolute death dealers. So yes, the Undercity Warfires do have a Rat Ogre, and he does have block. So this is the round 5 Underworld team. So the Rat Ogre's got block at this point. The Skaven Blitzer has got tackle. The Thrower has got leader for that integral reroll. So we've got leader on both sides here. The Gutter Runner is now double dipping with skills. We've got a micro hack flem here. Gutter Runner with block and 2 heads. Now 2 heads is going to allow him to add +1 to dodges forever. And when you have Edge 2+ already, that means he's dodging on a 1+ into the open, which means 1 tackle zone is as good as not existing, because with dodge built in and Edge 2+, it's just going to be a 2+ dodge through tackle zones. Now, in 7s, you don't have a lot of backup if something goes wrong, but a 2+ dodge with dodge and a leader reroll should be able to mean that Gutter Runner can hopefully redeploy to wherever he needs to go, and because he's got block and because he's got dodge, he should realistically stay on his feet when he gets punched repeatedly. Now, low strength makes him a really vulnerable target, low armor makes him a really vulnerable target, but blodge might help keep him on his feet. And at movement 9 with Edge 1+, he's a scoring threat basically from half the field away. We've got 3 goblins on the roster as well to be kind of reserve Edge 3+ stunty dodge pieces. They do great work. We got 1 desperate measure, which could be rubbish or it could be amazing. I'm thinking the wizard would be great here, as long as I don't forget it, because that Bloodseeker crew is going to end up mosh pitting up. So if I can roll a wizard on the roll and take out a few of them, it's going to be an absolute backbreaker. But so here's wishing for the wizard. There's some other cool desperate measures on there as well, isn't there? Banana skin basically wrecks a turn. The +1 strength, +1 agility piece would be really interesting too. I like the idea of a strength 4 blitzer or a strength 3 gutter runner. Assistant coach as well, just to help win off those roll stuff. Maybe sneak an extra reroll in there. Now, when it comes to this matchup, the Roger is awesome. And against everything on Trips' team, he's going to be able to make 2-die blocks with block and mighty blow and follow up again, even one-on-one with any of the Bloodseekers. I'm going to have to make sure that those goblins are in there to take away tackle zones to keep that kind of frenzy blitz really profitable as much as possible. I'm going to have to be super careful of that guard piece, because that guard piece is the difference between my 2-die, 4-die frenzy block and a 1-die block. Now, 1-die block with block is not the worst thing in the world. except in sevens where you've only got one reroll and the thing you want to reroll's got loner. Now, I think you guys have seen most of the series now, so you know that every now and again I'm willing to risk that 4+ loner reroll, and it doesn't always work. In fact, I would hasten to guess that it works 50% of the time. So the Roger, if I use him carefully and just keep an eye out for the bright green base of guard, it should be fine. Now, the rest of the team is good to go. It's a high edge, high scoring threat team. If I can survive, I can score and I can win. If I die, well, then it doesn't really matter. Okay, we've talked through the rosters and the matchup. It is time to talk about the Viewer Championship. This is Game 9. We've got 2 regular season games, Game 9 and Game 10, and then 3 games in the finals before the season is up. Now, what we want is for you to guess the score of, well, the score and the outcome of the game, basically. So, Khorne are going to win this 3-2. It's going to be a 2-all draw, that kind of thing, because we will give you points if you get things right, and points will win prizes at the end of the series. So, if you guess the right outcome, you will get 3 points, regardless of what your scores guess. So, if you guess Khorne are going to win 3-2 and they end up winning 1-0, you'll get 3 points for getting the outcome right. Every score that you get correct, you get a bonus point as well. So if you say it's going to be a 3-2 Khorne win, and Khorne end up winning 3-0, you're going to get 3 points for guessing the outcome correct, Khorne win. 1 point for guessing the 3 touchdowns, and no points for the other team, so 4 points. So there's up to 5 points per round. So we've got 9, 10, 2 semis and the final, so up to 25 points for grabs. And after redoing the scores for the last round, no one's at 25 yet. So even though we're over halfway of the season, you can still jump in and spike and win it. And let's look at the leaderboard. In first place now, Trevor Turner with 22 points. Second place, 21 points, Panenka and Stevie126. 19 points, Adam Pike, Austin Faulkner, Mike V and Olabayu. 18 points at fourth place, Alex, Chris Stevenson, who I've still got in there twice. Dan Pritchard, Joe Mama. New 3, Steve Reed. Fifth place, 17 points, Brad Barrett, Dean Wilson, Dick Hertz, Nick Broussard, Silith B, T Sticks. We've got Alexander Padberg of Dorset Dungeon Bowl fame, Antoine Herbert, Charles Glover, Dr. Gore, Gecko 8, Nicholas Dunlop, and a ton of great players there at 15 points. So we got the first places in the 20s. The first few spots are in the 20s, so that means there's still plenty of time, and we'll have the full Star Wars score scroll at the end of the episode. Okay, there is every chance that this matchup could be repeated in the finals. If it doesn't matter who wins this one, both of these teams will be in the 1 and 2 spot, I think, or at least the top 3 spots of the finals here. A draw would cause a bit of a problem, I think, but they're going to be in the top 4 no matter what. So there's every chance that these 2 teams could go through to the finals and end up playing against each other at some point. So it's a really important matchup for that one there. The great thing about this series is it's resurrection, so there's no lasting casualties. Now, there's a good side to that, which means actually we get to see these teams play out on tabletop fresh and ready to go, which is really good fun. On the other side, it means that a matchup like this, just on the edge of the regular season, means you're not going to have one team get absolutely crippled, which I'm a big fan of, but when it comes to league play, that's actually a really important factor. So that's not what we're going to see. What we are going to see is Trips running his best team in sevens and me running my best team in sevens, and it's a Khorne team that surprised everyone by how strong they've been, and an Underworld team that's just so slippery that with the right cascade of not rolling a 1 or a 2 can absolutely shoot out. So I say it every week, there tends to be a bash versus dash element to it. The Roger and the Blitzer here are going to be taking on way more than their pay grade when it comes to strength for the Khorne team. But we've got the best thrower in the game, we've got the best runner in the game, and we've got the best Roger in the game. So it's going to be a really good matchup, and I cannot wait for you guys to watch it. Anyway, don't forget to put your scores in by lunchtime on Saturday, and because it will go live to the Patreons lunchtime on Saturday, it goes live to everybody else on Sunday. And with that, I'm going to wrap up. Thank you very much for watching. We'll be back soon with more Blood Bowl content. Happy blocking. Thanks so much for watching. We really appreciate your support. If you want to support the channel even further, please like and subscribe. It really does help us out. Or come join us on YouTube Members or in Patreon, where you can get exclusive access to some content, some loot, early access to basically everything we do, as well as regular competitions. Or you can pick up some Bonehead Podcast loot either on our website at boneheadpodcast.com. We've got the Dungeon Bowl things, we've got tokens and stuff like that, or on our Spreadshirt site as well. Everything you do just helps us make more content and hopefully do it of better quality. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Happy blocking.